to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nisi G. I've been a mindset mentor for 3 years, a master cosmetologist for 18 years. I'm currently studying to become a nurse practitioner. I am obsessed with all things quantum physics, psychology, and neuroscience, and I use cognitive behavioral therapy to help people manifest what it is that they desire. When you can uncover the why behind the shit that you do, it makes it easier for you to stop doing it so you can get out of your own way. I got asked a very important question the other day about my experience being homeless and how I got myself out of that. Before I begin, all of the things that I'm going to be talking about and then some will be in my Wealth Code Live Masterclass. You guys, I am so excited about this masterclass. This is the first time I've ever done anything live like this. The Matrix Reset is also a masterclass, but it's more presentation style. This one will be live, available to only 100 people. Once those 100 ticket sales are done, I will take it off. This is going to be on Sunday, June the 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to register for that and get signed up, you'll just go to platinumgang.store and register that way. There'll be a form for you to fill out and get back to me, and then the Google Meet link will be sent to you upon purchase. I am so excited about it. We're going to go over small discrepancies that you may be doing that you may not realize. A lot of people like to affirm, script, do all this stuff, and then they still don't get it. And they're like, well, why am I not matching the frequency, all this stuff? And I also get that a lot of you guys come from law of attraction communities or law of attraction teaching or just robotically affirming. And sometimes robotically affirming might work for something, or this technique might work for money, or it might not work for SP, yada, yada, yada. So in this live Wealth Code Masterclass, you're going to be able to also stop and ask me questions live. So I'm so excited about it. So if you're interested in that, go to the link and sign up for that. Again, it's platinumgang.store. If you have any issues with it, feel free to reach out to us via email at platinumgangmindset@gmail.com or support@platinumganglifestyle.com. Okay, so anyways, let's get right into it. So this question got asked about how I was able to get myself out of homelessness, and I guess more so like my state of being, my mindset, things like that. First, let me give you guys a little bit of a backstory on what was going on with me at that time. At that time, I had been scripting and robotically affirming and downright acting like a banshee. I was crazy because I was like, I want what I want and that's it. At that time, my relationship with my man was not stable at all. I was able to create my relationship, but then I would lose it. And this is like where I want you guys to kind of understand. This is not even going to be a very lengthy video today. I guess I shouldn't say that, but because it might, sometimes I go over. But it's pretty basic and simple. There are times where you're able to manifest what you want, what you desire, whether it be love, money, car, relationship, whatever, and then you're not able to keep it. I knew about nervous system regulation, but I didn't understand that you're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to receive certain things. Okay. So that's where I was at this time frame. I was able to manifest things and I was able to receive money, but I would not keep it. It would fall through my fingers like water. Like I would get the manifestation, it would just fall through. I would receive it and it would just dissipate. I'm like, well, this is trash. I want to be able to keep the things that I desire, right? And so at that time I was dealing with that. I had gotten this apartment, thought that I was going to be able to keep it because I was like, whatever, I'll just manifest more money. I lost my salon at the time. I lost a car at the time because due to like engine issues. I lost my relationship. 2 family members had passed away at the time. Like your girl was going through it. So my mindset, I had no choice but to either fold or don't crack under pressure. Those are the only 2 options that I had. And I looked at it like that. Now, a lot of people will look at their situation and just go, okay, well, this is it. But when it comes to consciously creating, remember, you're the co-creator, right? We're told all the time, like, I'm the God of my reality. I'm the God of my reality. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But you can't even comprehend or figure out how you even got here, some of us. So it makes me feel better to know, number one, that I'm the co-creator, that I'm not by myself. There is something higher than me that's backing me up, right? For me to understand that these downloads or this information that I'm getting or that I'm receiving is coming from somewhere. So I wouldn't have the desire to have all this stuff if I weren't backed up for having it, right? So at that time, I was creating so much stuff. I was like, okay, I want this and I want that and blah, blah, blah. And being in the midst of this tornado, I did not understand it. In hindsight, now I do. And I'm going to go through and express that with you all too. So at the time, I had to move out of my apartment. I was very embarrassed because I was being kicked out of this apartment. I did not even want to like deal with it. And I had like worked out a deal with the leasing office for me to be out by like a certain time or whatever. Like they were real nice about it. They weren't like being rude or anything. But I had nowhere to go. And so I had to move out of this apartment, deal with the deaths in my family. Mind you, I live in California. My family is back home in Georgia. So it was a whole lot of back and forth. My cousins were like helping me with my flights. I mean, like all sorts of stuff. It was wild. And I got back and then like 2 or 3 days later, I had to move. So I ended up getting a last minute client. You know, I'm a hairstylist. I ended up getting a last minute client that helped me to be able to get a moving truck. And then so I was able to get a moving truck, put all my stuff in the moving truck and moved out. I had nowhere to go. I had no money. I did not know what I was going to do. And I did slip into victim mindset a little bit because here's the thing. People think that like you have to be high vibe and feel good constantly to be able to manifest what it is that you desire. And that's just not realistic. To me, it's not. I know some people will say you got to feel the feeling, your feeling and your thoughts. And it all goes hand in hand, but that's why there's different things that work for different people with different things, right? Like sometimes when I'm manifesting a large amount of money, I will get fucking enraged, okay? And manifest and robotically affirm from that. It depends on whatever feels natural to me in that space and with whatever I'm dealing with. So you need to do whatever feels natural to you. Remember, your manifestations are going to come to you when you are operating as your true authentic self and your true authentic form. So if I'm being fake in the slightest, my subconscious, my nervous system, my higher self is going to peep that. You can lie to me. You cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to other people. You cannot lie to yourself. So I moved out. I was able to stay with a friend of mine for about a week. And at that time, I made sure that I was like putting groceries in the house. Like I was doing whatever I needed to do to like be there. And I could tell like the energy was kind of off. And I think that it's a little bit of everyone as you pushed out and her at that time because I was very insecure. I was very, very insecure. So I was doing things and behaving as an insecure person. Like, let me just be in the room and be out of the way. I don't want to be bothering her. I don't want to do this. Like, I just wanted to be out of the way. And what's so crazy, though, is that when she was at one of her low points, I actually was there for her. And I'm talking low, like her car got repoed, all sorts of stuff. And I was there for her because I like to show up for other people. And we'll get into that topic in another video about being someone's doormat because you're never supposed to do that. But I was like, okay, well, I've helped her. She'll help me. I've known her since I moved here. We had been friends for a while. We worked in the salon together before. We worked in the same salons, in the same salon studio. Matter of fact, when I had to move out of my salon studio, she was supposed to move out of hers. I've had several studios, but she was supposed to move out of hers. And she ended up losing all of her stuff. And I tried to like help her by saying like, hey, you don't have to, lose your space. You can get your space, you can get your stuff, but she didn't want to take me up on it. She was just like, no, I feel defeated. I don't care. She was very much like, she would get so nervous and so anxious. And I loved this girl. I mean, and I still have love for her. It's just, over there, there's no like animosity or bad blood or anything like that. I've learned to keep people for who and what they are and leave them at that space versus me entertaining what I think they should be in my mind. Someone once told me that it is when you see other people and what you think they should do, that's you, because that's what you think that they should do. If you were them, this is what you would do. So you're basically just seeing your potential in other people, not their potential. So for me, I would have done what I did and got my stuff. She didn't do that. So fast forward, anyways, I ended up being with her for like a week and a half. Everything was good. And then out of nowhere, she was just like, hey, I can't have you stay here anymore. The landlord might think that you are, you know, overstaying, or we might get in trouble. And I was like, well, did the landlord say anything? And she was like, no, but we have cameras. And you know, she's just making excuses. She was just making excuses. I really felt like she just didn't want me there. And she could have just said that versus doing the way she did. So she leaves work. She picks me up. It's like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. She takes me and drives me back to my moving truck because I still had my stuff in the moving truck. I didn't have a storage unit or anywhere to put the stuff. So my moving truck was just on side of the road. She drove me back to the moving truck and she started crying. And she was like, I feel awful. And I'm just looking at her and I'm like, okay. And she's like, I don't want you to have to stay here. And she's like, you're going to get through this. Like, I know you are. She's like, I hope you understand. Like, I just can't have you be in my home and me run the risk of getting evicted from my place or getting kicked out of my place. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, you've had family members come stay with you. Why would your landlord think, whatever, girl, that's the reason you gave me. So I'm going to believe you and run with that, right? I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. So I ended up sleeping in the moving truck, had my blanket, all my stuff in there, all the stuff that I had at her house. Because mind you, I had stayed there for a week and a half. I charged up like all of my devices. And I think at the time I maybe had like $80 to my name, if that. Like I was so fucking broke. It was ridiculous. And I'm laughing at it now because you just look back on your experiences and you're like, holy hell, how did I get through that? And I don't have the type of like family that I can call and like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Will you help me? Because I'm the oldest of 3 daughters and my parents really fixate on helping my younger sisters. And I'm not knocking none of that. It is what it is. So subconsciously, I've been taught that I can't rely on them because I was always told, well, I can't do this because your sister needs this. I can't do that because the sister needs that. Well, you know, I'm paying all of this for them and I'm doing all of this for them. So it was just, I didn't have that as a resource. And so I remember sitting in the moving truck. I was petrified because I parked the truck at a park nearby. And I just remember people like coming in and out and like homeless people. And, you know, you sleep with one eye open sort of thing. And I am from Georgia. So, you know, I got what I got on me. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. I should be fine. And I remember just like being there and I was like, this is not the way that my story ends. I genuinely refused to sit in a victim mindset of woe is me. My friend dropped me off. She did this to me. Matter of fact, I stayed friends with her for a little bit after the fact. But then I just started to pick up other little things that she would do. And I was like, this ain't my cup of tea. This girl is no. So at any rate, I was like, okay, this is not going to be my end all be all. This is not going to be the way that my story ends. Absolutely fucking not. Like, I'm not doing that at all. So I remember sitting in the truck and I was looking out at the street light and I had the truck kind of parked like in the back, like backed in, and the street light could kind of like beam down on the truck a little bit, like, you know, kind of over it. And I remember looking up at the street light and I was like, yeah, this is not the way the story ends. I'm not doing this. I'm fucking done. Absolutely not. And as I'm deciding this, I was like, I don't know what's going on in the back end. I don't know and I don't care. But I know that this is not the way my story ends. I am not a victim. I will not be a victim. I got fucking enraged. I got angry. I got so angry, you guys. Like, if I could have been in one of those what are those rooms where you could take a baseball bat to old TVs and radios and stuff, if I could have did that, I know I would have fucked some shit up that day. Okay, I got so enraged. I was like, yeah, you got yourself here. Are you proud of this? This is what you created because you know, you believe in the law, you know this is real. What did you do this for? What am I supposed to gain? What knowledge can I take from this situation? Because this ain't the fuck it. This is not it. Absolutely not. And so I ended up looking at my phone and I had some DMs randomly, y'all. And I'm talking like this is 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I had some DMs from people who wanted hair extensions. They wanted their hair done. I had one girl, she lived in a different state. Actually, no, I'm lying. She lived in a different country and she wanted my hair extensions. I have my own hair extensions brand. So I made a sale. And for those of you, if you don't know anything about like business or selling tangible goods, you make a profit off of hair extensions. So you don't get to pocket everything that you make. But instead of me looking at it like, oh, I just got this one sale, this won't even put a dent in what I'm, doing or what I'm creating. I did not look at it like that. I refused to look at it like that actually. And I said, okay, momentum building. Got it. Let's keep building this momentum. I fell asleep for about another 30, 40 minutes because, who can sleep peacefully or something like that? I fell asleep for a couple more minutes and then I ended up checking my Instagram DMs. Got on my Instagram DMs again and someone else wanted to get their hair done. So she sends me her deposit. Then like 2 hours later, she sends me another message. And she's like, hey, I actually want to get hair extensions. Can I get that? Boom. So that brought in another sale. I said, okay, momentum going, momentum building. Here we go. And a lot of people will listen to the story about, okay, well, I don't have any tangible goods I can sell. You're missing the point of the video. You're missing the point of my attitude. You're missing the point of my verbiage. You're missing the point. And I'm going to start calling that stuff out in the middle of the video because that is just your subconscious trying to say, well, she did it because she had blah, blah, blah. Everybody's circumstances are different, yes, but your mindset has to match what it is that you're trying to create. You've got to refuse and you've got to fight like hell against whatever it is that you are creating on autopilot that you don't want anymore. The moment you can become the observer or whatever it is that you're going through, meaning you can sit back and look at it and say, just like I told you guys on TikTok about the conditioned stimulus, the more you can sit back and say, okay, this is the way that I used to react to this situation. This is the way that I feel like I need to react now. The moment you can pause at the fork in the road and say, do I go left or do I go right? Do I go off of old behavior that I'm used to doing? Or do I give my subconscious something different? Because remember, your conditioned stimulus will hijack you every single time. Your nervous system has an expectation, and that expectation is what you've taught it over and over and over and over again to deem safe. Those things are not safe for you anymore. So why would you go back and do something or behave and expect a different result? I say this time and time again. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is a definition of insanity. So why would I not choose something different? Why would I not? I'm standing at the fork in the road. I'm in this moving truck. I know that I got myself here. How do I get out? The momentum started to build. And it took me a good while before I was able to get stable. I'm talking, I stayed on couches. I lost friends. They kicked me out of their places. I had one girl cuss me out. And she said that it felt good because it's almost like a fall from grace, to be honest with you. These are people that I thought were my friends that were actually really intimidated by me and felt threatened by me. And now that I know what I know about psychology, I look back at that situation. I'm like, holy shit. They were just projecting. People are in a constant state of projection, and I shouldn't have taken those situations so seriously. But that's where it was. People love to say, I helped you win. I did this. They love to throw things back up in your face because it makes them feel good. It gives them a dopamine hit, right? For me, I like to just do things out of the kindness of my heart. I'm not going to remind you of what I did for you. That's stupid. And so, nonetheless, I ended up couch hopping, getting Airbnbs. At the time, my son was in Atlanta with his dad, thank God. And I was really, really, really going through it. Now, what I mentioned in the beginning of this video, when I was going through all of these things and I had been enraged in scripting and robotically affirming and recording stuff on Parrot app and all this stuff, I was like, oh my God, I had been creating this, and that. And I don't want to get too personal in my business at the time, but there was like a list of things that I was creating. And it didn't dawn on me until I went back. I was at my friend's house and I was getting ready to go to an Airbnb. And I looked through and I said, oh my God, I wrote this, and that. I had to lose this to get this. I had to do this like if Mount Everest has to be moved in order for you to get whatever it is that you desire, it will be moved. It will be moved. And sometimes when you are in the middle of the storm, when you're right at the brink of everything changing, your nervous system feels calm, just like my nervous system in the truck felt calm. I felt like I'm not going to choose this. I'm going to choose that instead. That's when things started to shift for me and started to go in my favor. Shortly after that, I started my coaching business because I was like, okay, I was able to do this and do this. And I started writing it down. You guys, I got crazy. I keep my whiteboard right here with me and I write all this stuff on here because I just started writing down, okay, I went through this and I did this and this is what worked and this is how I did this. And then I got into cognitive behavioral therapy and I was like, okay, then I got into neuroscience and I'm talking like years of studying this shit. And I was like, okay, well, why wasn't I able to keep this? I even went back to things that happened when my son was born in 2013. And I was like, okay, let me go back and look at stuff like that. Like wrote it down. And I still do this. Even the things that you guys purchase from me, all of the classes, e-courses, they all use cognitive behavioral therapy to help you uncover why you have the shitty habits that you have. So that's what makes my content different. I am not just like telling you this shit out of word vomit. I want you to understand your poor habits, just like I did. Because if I can do it, you can do it. I am no different than you, and you are no different than me. You have to understand it's you that's in your own way. So when I wrote down all this stuff, I said, okay, oh my God, I've been creating this in my relationship. So then my man came back. By the time I moved and got into my apartment, I started like making Puerto Rican food. If you know my story about manifesting my SP, if you don't, you can download Love Aligned. Everything is in there. But I started making Puerto Rican food. I was like, I'm going to focus on something else instead of putting my focus and attention and awareness on not having the relationship that I desire. And so I started putting all of my focus into that. I started pouring into myself. I started going to the gym. I raised my self-concept, got my self-concept so high that I was like, yes, this is it. My ex tried to come back again for like the third time. I wasn't having it. I was able to keep and maintain my relationship. I was able to keep and maintain money, pay my bills, like everything just catapulted and skyrocketed. But Mount Everest had to be moved. I had to go through all of those losses because it was just being moved. I was gaining. Same thing happened to me when I was manifesting $20,000 back in, this happened in 2018 or 2019. I don't remember. But it was on my birthday and this lady T-boned me and hit my car on my birthday, y'all. I was livid. And it didn't dawn on me until I had gotten a payout from her insurance company and had gotten a check because I had to go to the emergency room. I couldn't work. Like my back and my neck was really messed up. And I went to the bank and it did not dawn on me until I pulled out this fake check in my wallet. I had watched this video of Jim Carrey at the time. And a couple months before that, he was saying on the Oprah Winfrey Show to like write out a universal check, like a fake check to yourself, because that's what he did. So I did this. I went and found a check from the universe, like Bank of the Universe or some shit. I don't know. I found it on Google and wrote myself a check for $20,000. And I was like, that at the time, that sounded like a lot of money to me. So I wrote the check out and then it didn't dawn on me until I went to the bank to deposit that check. And I flung out my debit card so fast that the fake one hit the floor. And I picked it up and I opened it and I said, oh my God. And I looked at it and I said, this one is the real one was a little over 20,000 and the one that I wrote to myself was 20,000. And it's so wild because I would have never thought that $20,000 would have come from a car accident. My car was fine. And, luckily I didn't have any really bad injuries. My back still hurts from that accident from time to time, but you know what I mean? It wasn't fatal or anything like that. So I'm like, sometimes these things will bring upon things and it will unfold in the craziest way that you could never imagine. Your job in the midst of that is to stand at the fork in the road and say, this is the way that I used to react. And this is the outcome that I would get. This is what I'm conditioned to do because I have to feed my nervous system the expectation. When you don't feed your nervous system the expectation, it is uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable as shit in that moving truck. You will experience moments of discomfort, but the more you can talk yourself through it and ease into it and say, you know what? This is going to be my new normal. Yes, it's uncomfortable for now. It will not be uncomfortable for long. You will be able to be at that fork in the road and choose wisely. Why would you keep choosing something that no longer serves you? You need to choose you in this now moment. And now that I have chose something differently and I continue to stay different and continue to stay on that road, things have become easier for me to observe. Because remember, you are the observed and you are observing. So I'm going to go and look at what I'm doing and choose something differently. And that's the most powerful place that you can be. It's my intention that this video has helped you understand what to do when life has your back up against the wall, child. You don't want to be frustrated with that anymore. If you need further help with that, you can go and download my nervous system regulation e-guide available on my site, along with the self-concept workbook. I always recommend for everyone to do the Platinum and Poise bundle, because then you'll get the wealth code, nervous system regulation, and the self-concept all in one. Again, I'm so excited about the Wealth Code Live Masterclass. If you can join, I would love to see you there. There's only going to be 100 tickets available, and that'll be available, link in my bio at platinumgang.store. I love you guys. Make sure you check out my blog on platinumganglifestyle.com. If you have any questions or you want me to do a deeper dive into a particular topic, feel free to drop a comment, and I'll make sure that I make it for you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.